Good morning, student. In this lecture PPT, I'm going to talk about two topics. Both are related to paper 203. One is arachidonic acid metabolism. In that, the arachidonic acid metabolism leads to generation of various kinds of molecules. One is group of prostaglandins, another is leukotrienes. They are all totally called as eicosanoids, including thromboxane. But here in your syllabus you have only leukotriene synthesis. After this I'm going to talk about bacterial photosynthesis. Okay, whenever there is a tissue injury, the neutrophils and mast cells and platelets, they are all brought to the site. Once they are brought to the sites, their internal metabolism is changed by increase in calcium, and there is activation of phospholipase A2. What this phospholipase A2 does is it acts on the membrane phospholipids which contain arachidonic acid, and then the enzyme frees the arachidonic acid. Now we have the free arachidonic acid inside the cell. Arachidonic acid contains 20 carbon, and once the arachidonic acid is freed from the membrane, it is rapidly converted to bioactive mediators. These mediators totally are referred to as eicosanoids. That means eicosa in Greek word meaning 20 carbon containing compounds, so they are called as eicosanoids. The group contains prostaglandin, thromboxane, leukotrienes, and lipoxins. So once the arachidonic acid is released, there are two kinds of enzyme which can act on arachidonic acid. One is cyclooxygenase, and you have the lipoxygenase mediated pathway. In cyclooxygenase mediated pathway, you have the synthesis of prostaglandins, but in lipoxygenase mediated pathway, you have the synthesis of leukotrienes and lipoxins. Basically 5 lipoxygenase pathway leads to synthesis of hydroperoxy eicosa tetraenoic acid, that is converted to leukotriene B4, A4, C4, D4, and E4. It's a very simple pathway. For this hydroperoxy eicosa tetraenoic acid, I'm going to tell that as HPETE further in the presentation. This pathway is also called as the linear pathway, which will lead to synthesis of leukotrienes, epoxylins, and lipoxins. The cyclic pathway leads to the synthesis of prostaglandins. If they ask you to write arachidonic acid linear pathway metabolized product, you have to write about leukotrienes or lipoxin. For your syllabus, you have only leukotrienes. These leukotrienes are derived from the action of 5-lipoxygenase reaction and are synthesized by variety of white blood cells, mast cells, as well as lung, spleen, brain, and heart. There is a group that leukotriene C4, D4, and E4. They are togetherly called as peptidoleukotrienes. They are recognized to be the components of SRSA, that is slow reacting substances of anaphylaxis, which is released from the sensitized lung after immunological challenge. These substances are very reactive because they are like 10,000 fold more potent than histamine, a well-known stimulant of allergic reaction. So if they are produced in respiratory system, they constrict bronchi, especially the smaller airway, increasing mucus secretion, and are thought to be the mediators of asthma. and they also are implicated in immediate hypersensitivity reactions like inflammatory reactions and heart attack. Now coming to leukotriene synthesis, it's a very simple straightforward pathway. The first two reaction is the conversion of arachidonic acid to leukotrienes are catalyzed by a 5-lipoxygenase which contains a non-heme sulfur cluster iron atom that must be in its ferric state to be active. These reactions occur in the following steps. You can see one first reaction is subdivided into A, B, C and followed by the second reaction. Okay, so the first reaction is the oxidation of arachidonic acid to form 5-HPETE, a substance that in itself is not physiological mediator. Okay, but the converted product are physiological mediator. This first reaction, that is oxidation of arachidonic acid to 5-HPETE, is occurring in 3 steps. The first one, 1A, is the active site iron atom in its active ferric states abstract an electron from the central methylene group of the 5-8 pentadiene moiety of arachidonic acid and results free radical loses a proton to an enzymatic base. Followed by that 1B, the free radical rearranges and adds oxygen to form an hydroperoxide radical. 1C, the hydroperoxide radical reacts with the active site iron. Now it is in Fe2 plus form to yield the hydroperoxide in its anionic form, which the enzyme then protonates to yield the hydroperoxide product, regenerating the Fe3 enzyme. Now once this addition of oxygen is done, the second step, that is base catalyzed elimination of water to form unstable epoxide, that is leukotriene EA4, is formed. 4 indicates the number of carbon-carbon double bond in the molecule, which is also in it's a serial number. Okay, so the peptidoleukotrienes LT-A4 is converted to peptidoleukotriene by reaction with LT-C4 synthase, which is a glutathione S transferase that catalyzes the addition of glutathione sulfahedral group to the LTA4. Okay, LTA4 epoxide forming the first of the peptidoleukotriene, that is leukotriene C4, LTC4. Okay, now gamma glutamyl transferase remove the glutamic acid, converting the LTC4 to leukotriene D4. The leukotriene D4 is converted to leukotriene E4 by a dipeptidase that removes the glycine. LTA4 can also be converted, can also be hydrolyzed to leukotriene B4, which is a potent chemotactic agent that attracts the motile cells involved in attracting certain types of white blood cell to fight infection. Okay. Various inflammatory and hypersensitivity disorders are associated with elevated levels of leukotrienes. So what I have shown here is an enzyme that is it's a human 5-lipoxygenase activating protein complex. Okay, so this protein is very important because it's a membrane bound protein, and this is an one 5-lipoxy molecule binds to the cytosolic surface of this 5-lipoxygenase activating protein, it accepts arachidonic acid molecule that FLAP extracted from the membrane, so that holds the substrate and the enzyme together. The whole synthesis of leukotriene is very important because diet rich with marine lipids decrease the amount of cholesterol, prostaglandin and leukotriene levels, because when you have these all decreased, the effect of coronary heart disease is reduced. That means if the diet is rich with eicosapentaenoic acid, then there is decrease in cholesterol and triglycerol levels in the plasma. If people with the hypertriacylglycerolemic patients are taken, given this eicosapentaenoic acid, and which is a omega-3 fatty acid, then there is a reduction in the levels of 5-leukotrienes compounds, which they are removed, that the arachidonic acid is removed from the membrane and these leukotrienes are synthesized. So the leukotriene mediated inflammatory responses are reduced in such people. So in this section, what I have explained you is how leukotrienes are synthesized. Leukotrienes are synthesized from the starting molecule arachidonic acid. In all the paper related to metabolism, structures are very important. If you write only the name, no marks will be given. 1 or 2 marks may be given if the flowchart is correct, including all the enzymes and cofactors and other molecules if you write, but full marks will never be given. So you have to start with the structure of arachidonic acid with the enzyme 5-lipoxygenase. By two-step mediated action of this lipoxygenase, it is converted to leukotriene A4, that is the main molecule. Leukotriene A4 further can be converted to leukotriene B4, C4, D4 and E4. This is the simplest of the metabolic pathways. Further in this section, I'm going to talk about bacterial photosynthesis. Okay, I have spoken about in the last PPT related to photosynthesis. I have spoken about the this one. What is it? Calvin cycle. And now in this section, I'm going to talk about the bacterial photosynthesis. See, like in photosynthesis of the plants and cyanobacteria, you have photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Here in bacterial, it is more simplified version, and from bacteria to bacteria, you have lot of variation. Like purple sulfur bacteria has some other some way of, like it has a cyclic way of photophosphorylation or photosynthesis. In green sulfur bacteria, there is non-cyclic photophosphorylation, and then you have variation from bacterial to bacteria. But here what I am concentrating in this PPT is two bacterial species. The first is purple photosynthetic bacteria, and then coming to green sulfur bacteria. Most of the reaction centers, that is the light harvesting centers or light absorbing molecules arrangement, is completely what is explained is of purple photosynthetic bacteria. In the last slide of this presentation, I will explain the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, that is the electron donors. In case of purple photosynthetic bacteria, since it is cyclic phosphorylation, the electrons are not taken from the cytoplasm. Like in plants, you have the water as the donor of electron to non-cyclic photophosphorylation. There is cyclic cyclic cycle where you have there is no accepting of electron from outside other than the reaction center molecules getting getting excited and transferring electron, that electron coming back to the reaction center. But in case of non-cyclic transfer, electron transfer, you have the acceptance of electron from other molecule. This molecule in case of bacteria are very interesting, which I will talk in the last slide. So bacterial photosynthesis, you have two kind of light harvesting systems, that is light harvesting system 1 and system 2. Light harvesting center 1, which is contains the reaction center of bacteria. There are two, it is determined because they absorb at a different wavelength. If you do a scanning of the UV spectra, then you get the spectral maximum at different points in case of light harvesting system 1 and system 2. That means it contains chlorophyll molecules. Apart from chlorophyll molecules, you have other pigments also, which will help in the harvesting of the photons. Purple photosynthetic bacteria are among the simplest photosynthetic organisms, which have two types of reaction centers: light harvesting complexes, light harvesting complex 1 LH1, and light harvesting complex 2, which I'll call it as LH2. So these light harvesting complexes are transmembrane proteins, but they have different spectral and biochemical properties. LH2 absorbs light at a shorter wavelength than LH1 and rapidly passes the energy from the photons to it absorbed to LH1. The LH okay. LH2 gives out to LH1 because that is the reaction center which is in the LH1. Now the reaction center is what gets excited. Okay, apart from the reaction center chlorophyll molecules, you have other chlorophyll molecules also. Okay, and you have accessory pigments like what is called as lycopene, beta carotene in these reaction centers. Now the bacterial chlorophyll, it's important to write the structure. The bacterial chlorophyll, the R1, R2, R3 and R4 groups are different. Bacterial chlorophyll A and bacterial chlorophyll B, you have to remember and write the structure. It contains a center magnesium atom. So in case of pheophytin, the central magnesium atom will not be there, it will be the hydrogen present there. So both the structures you have to write in the exam. This is the structure of light harvesting complex. It's a very interesting and nice structure. Okay, one second. Okay, this is the X-ray structure of light harvesting complex 2, that is LH2, from purple photosynthetic bacteria, that is Rhodospirillum molyscienum. Okay. It contains an 8-fold rotational symmetry which contains alpha 8, beta 8, 16 MERS that bind 24 bacterial chlorophyll A molecule and 8 lycopene molecule. The 8 lycopene molecule are the yellow color molecule in this picture, the A picture. You can see 8 molecules of lycopenes are in yellow color, and the green color are the bacterial chlorophyll molecules. Some are bound tightly to the complex and some are loosely arranged to this subunits. The alpha and beta subunit consists largely of single helices that are aligned perpendicularly to the plane of the membrane in which they are embedded. It's important to know the diameter of this light harvesting complex 2 is 31 angstrom. Each of the 8 beta complexes occupies a position randomly, that is outward from an alpha subunit to form a concentric cylinder of 62 angstrom. The center one are the alpha subunit, the outer pink color are the beta subunit. 16 of the bacterial chlorophyll A molecules are packed between these rings of the helices in an arrangement which resembles 16-bladed turbine. Successively, nearly parallel to this bacterial chlorophyll A system are in partial van der Waals contact, that is with the magnesium ions uh, with the plane of the membrane. Their magnesium ions are singly axially ligated by the histidine molecules. Okay. So the remaining of the 8 bacterial chlorophyll A molecules, which are slightly axially ligated by side attachment to the subunits, and uh, are little freely located with this protein complex. The 8 lycopene molecules are sandwiched between the alpha and beta subunits and extend along much of their length through thereby contacting both the sets of bacterial chlorophyll A molecules. Okay. If you go to other species like Rhodosudomonas acidophilus, there will be slight variation, but we'll stick on to Rhodospirillum mollischianum. The light harvesting complex or one, that was light harvesting complex 2, you can see one bigger circle is there here, that is the light harvesting complex 1. Like the light harvesting complex 2 has the alpha and beta subunits, which are they are larger in number, like the light harvesting complex 2, which has a 16-fold rotational symmetry and has a diameter of 116 Armstrong. Okay, so this hole is sufficient to hold the reaction center, which you can see in the center of the light harvesting complex 1. The light harvesting complex 1 contains bacterial chlorophyll A molecules which absorb radiation at a longer wavelength than those of the light harvesting complex 2, which resembles I mean, from the light harvesting complex 2, the energy can be transferred to light harvesting complex 1, then to the reaction center. Now, this light harvesting complexes also contains accessory pigments that can help in the absorption of the other spectra like carotenoids, like lycopene and beta carotene. Now, the electron transport in purple photosynthetic bacteria. Now, we know that photosynthesis is a process in which electrons from an excited chlorophyll molecule are passed through a series of acceptors that convert electronic energy to the chemical energy, that is the proton gradient, and then energy molecules are synthesized. So it's very like what we have to know is which is the molecule which is getting excited, and then how this transduction of like energy is done. The very first indication that chlorophyll molecule undergoes direct photooxidation was obtained by Louis Duensis in 1952. What he did was he illuminated the membrane preparation of purple photosynthetic bacterium, Rhodospirillum rubrum, which caused bleaching of their absorbance at 870 nanometer. So he suggested that this bleaching is caused by photooxidation of bacterial chlorophyll complex, that he named it as P870, that is 870 nanometer for the position of the wavelength absorption. And this band he named it as bacterial chlorophyll A. Okay, the and the reaction center particles forms with, it's a complex of several species in purpose of photosynthetic bacteria, and it's almost similar in composition. Rhodospirillum viridis contains three hydrophobic subunits, that is H, L and M. The L and M subunits of the membrane, L and M subunits of the membrane spanning protein collectively bind four molecules of bacterial chlorophyll B. This bacterial chlorophyll B absorbs at 960 nanometer. Bacterial chlorophyll A absorbs at 870 nanometer. This 960 nanometer, there are like four molecules of bacterial chlorophyll B, two molecules of bacterial pheophytin, where like the magnesium is replaced by two proton, uh, four molecules of bacterial chlorophyll B, two molecules of bacteriophyophytin B, and then one molecules of non-heme non-iron sulfur iron ferrous ion, one molecule of redox coenzyme ubiquinone, and one molecule of related menaquinone. So in this structure you can see that you have chlorophyll molecule arranged in a symmetry, and then you have the accessory bacterial chlorophyll B, and then you have the pheophytin, followed by you have ubiquinone and then menaquinone. So this forms the reaction center of purple bacteria, that is Rhodospirillum viridis, which is like stabilized by the protein alpha and beta complexes. The very striking feature here is you can see the arrangement of the prosthetic group in a two-fold symmetry. Okay, the two bacterial chlorophyll B molecule in Rhodospirillum viridis is so called the special pair, are closely associated. They are nearly parallel and have magnesium distance of 7 angstrom, and the once it is excited, like at zero time, at a different time, the passage of this excited electron to menaquinone is almost 100% and very efficiently transported. My god, that is in this it is very clear. Now these photosystem are associated with bacterial pheophytin and other accessory molecules, that is like, now a photon, when it is absorbed, one electron excitation happens. There are two photons that are absorbed per each cycle. Okay, the two electrons which are liberated from a special pair here, that is bacterial photosystem 870, by consecutive absorption of two photons, are taken up by the ubiquinone, that is QB, together with true proton to the from the P870, it is transported to bacterial pheophytin A, and then to the quinone A, which is converted to bacterial anion semiquinone molecule. And once this anion semiquinone takes up one electron, it transferred to the QB, the quinone B molecule, the ubiquinone B, and once it is transferred and it causes a anion of QB, it takes up one more electron from QA, and then once it is taken up two electron, and it is transported to it is released from the reaction center and diffuses through the membrane to the cytochrome BC1, which in a two electron reaction oxidizes it to ubiquinone with the concomitant liberation of its two proton to the external medium. One of the two electron is passed via the 2Fe2Fs cluster and the cytochrome C1 to cytochrome C2, a peripheral membrane protein that then diffuses to the to across the external surface of the membrane so as to return the electron to photosystem 870 of the reaction center. Now there are two electrons which are accepted. So the second electron from QH2 passes via the Q cycle. You remember in the photosynthesis of plant, I have explained this Q cycle. So please refer back the Q cycle there. In the Q cycle, it passes through the heme BL of the cytochrome BC1 and then contributes to the reduction of one molecule of ubiquinone with the concomitant uptake of two more cytoplasmic protons. The resulting QH2 diffuses back to the cytochrome BC1. There it is again oxidized with the liberation of two protons to the exterior. So the total of four protons are pumped out to the exterior of the in this cycle. Okay. So it has to be noted that every turn of a Q cycle, half of the electrons liberated by the oxidation of QH2 to Q are used to reduce Q to QH2, so that after a large number of turns, an electron that enters the Q cycle on an average passes through it twice before being returned to the P870. Thus, the net result of the absorption of two photons by the reaction center is the translocation of four protons from the cytoplasm to the external medium. So, this is cyclic for a cyclic transfer of electrons from the cytochrome C2. It will be transferred to the heme centers, which are of C-type cytochromes, and then to the P870. So this depending on the species, these four hemes can be there or cannot be there. What is represented here is Rhodospirillum spheroides. In viridis it can be a little different. So after during this electron transport, you can see that the cytochrome Q cycle, cytochrome BC1, cytochrome C, which you would have come across in mitochondria, these are also something similarly behaving. So once the proton are transported, then they have to be retrieved back by a process called as photophosphorylation, where the ATP synthesis happens. That is, the synthesis of ATP by this proton gradient is known as photophosphorylation, which is driven by the dissipation of resulting pH gradient in a manner that closely resembles to ATP synthesis in oxidative phosphorylation. Photosynthetic bacteria uses photophosphorylated ATP to drive their various endergonic processes, unlike cyanobacteria and plant, which generate their required reducing equivalent by light-driven photooxidation of water. Photosynthetic bacteria must obtain their reducing equivalent from the environment. Okay, these reducing equivalents can be various substances like hydrogen sulfide, some elemental sulfur, S2O3 2 minus, or hydrogen gas, or many other organic compounds which functions in this capacity depending on the bacterial species. So whatever we have, the modern photosynthetic bacteria, which was thought to be the original photosynthetic, which resemble the original photosynthetic bacteria, these presumably arose very early in the history of cellular life, when the environmental supplied rich sources of these high energy compounds. So there was plentiful of these compounds. Photosynthetic bacteria, because of this plenty of availability of reducing substances, they were the dominant life forms on earth. Eventually, because of rapid growth, these all compounds got exhausted, and uh, because of this exhaustion of this reductive resources, the ancestral cyanobacteria evolved, where the adaptation to the photosynthetic system, where they can abstract the electron from water, gradually started, and there was production of oxygen, which forced these kind of photosynthetic bacteria to now currently narrow ecological niches that are presently confined in some areas of the earth. So this was the simplest purple bacteria, where you have the excited P870 of the reaction center, which takes up the electrons and then becomes excited molecule by donating the electron to bacterial chlorophyll, and becomes P870 plus. From the bacterial chlorophyll, the electrons are transferred to bacterial pheophytin, that is transferred to quinone A and quinone B, and quinone B to cytochrome BC1 to cytochrome C2, and then back to the reaction center 870. So in case of green sulfur bacteria, the reaction center is P840, and which absorbs a photon and then get excited, and then for the accessory pigments A0, A1 and iron sulfur clusters to ferredoxin to NAD plus, it is electron is transferred. The lost electron from the P840 is accepted from the H2S, that is the donor of the electron.